Howdy, howdy. I am Zach,
I am Peyton.
and this is Full Sport Press live. Well, kind of live for us.
I think it's always live for us though. It's just in person. Maybe would be the word you're looking
Yeah,
for. In person.
I guess so. That makes sense. So you're in Indy. How's it feel?
I have no words. It's Indy.
Got good food.
I did. Yep, good burger.
Yeah.
Um, just got smacked by the cat. So yeah,
Nice.
we have a very brief episode, I believe. Not much really to talk about for us.
It's going to be really short.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how long it lasts exactly. So, yeah. Did we just get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right.
You want to give your congrats first?
Yes, I do. I was like, what are you talking about? Let me get to the app. So, if you live under a rock and didn't pay attention, we ran our first annual, what would we call it?
Tournament challenge.
Tournament challenge? That's just boring. Like, it's not a bracket pool because it wasn't really a pool of money. I guess that's what it is, tournament challenge. Anyway, we ran it and we had a winner. Somebody came in first. Their name is Caden Hooks with 1,130 points. UConn was the. We got a DM on Twitter saying, "Hey, send me a shirt," and I was like, "All right, go to homefieldapparel.com and pick one," and he did. Do you know which one he picked? Did you look?
I believe it was it a UConn shirt? I believe
It was the Ash UConn championship, the big one with the little rocket and the basketball that's playing pretend as a planet. It's pretty cool. But yes, anyway, congratulations, Caden. Great job. You did say in the on Twitter that if we run this again next year, you're going to come back and beat everybody again. So we can't wait to see you there. Congratulations. All righty.
All right, we are moving on to our what we saw of the week. I'm starting off with the Will Petrie Grand Slam in Game 1 of South Carolina LSU. The freshman, he had already hit one home run that during that game, and then comes up with the bases loaded and just takes them deep. It was huge. Honestly, they destroyed them in that first game, and that was a big part of it. That kind of put them over the edge. So it was like LSU would have to have a major comeback. And so Will Petrie Grand Slam, the freshman of all people, who has just been insane. And that is definitely what I saw the week. It was an insane moment for him.
Yardcocks looking good.
They are.
They really are. If you don't know what that means, Billy Ray, yikes. So what I saw was, I'm not going to lie, I took some thinking to come up with this, thinking from other people, possibly. But what I saw was Aaliyah Boston getting drafted number 1 to the Indiana Fever. Not only does a Gamecock go number 1, but she's also coming to my new home, my new favorite WNBA team, because I didn't have one before. So I'm very excited. That's going to be fun to see her play. She's not going to get triple teamed anymore. Oh, man, it's going to be magical. We're going to talk more about that later, though. Ready to get into the next part of it?
I believe so.
God,
all right. We are going to review the games of the week. Mine is a little sad, honestly. It was very disappointing. The first game of South Carolina LSU, South Carolina destroyed them. And that was a good game to see. Sadly, both of the starting pitchers had to come out after, I believe it was the third or fourth inning because of a rain delay. So if you don't know, LSU has one of the best pitchers in the nation who had not given up a home run all year, but he had given up 2 to South Carolina in those first couple innings. But sadly, both him and Will Sanders, Carolina starter, had to come out because of like an hour and a half long rain delay. But they did end up finishing the game. South Carolina destroyed. And then they came back the next day, which was supposed to be a doubleheader starting at noon. They played the first game. South Carolina was up pretty much the whole time until LSU hits a grand slam to tie it up and then eventually take the lead and win by a run. That one was a little rough for South Carolina. They had it in the bag and just choked it away. It was pretty sad to see because they should have won that game. And then sadly, that's where it ended 1-1 as the last game. They couldn't get it in on Friday night or Saturday all day long because of rain in Columbia. Hopefully we'll see this game again in the SEC tournament or in Omaha because they were two powerhouse teams it was great games to watch. Just sad to see only 2 games, and there was a tie.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been the game 3 would have been great. But hopefully we'll see it again later on this season. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, my game of the week was the Masters, specifically on Sunday. The Masters, as well as baseball, got a little messed up because of a bunch of rain and winds and all that. I'm pretty sure they got through Thursday okay.
Yeah.
Friday, they had to end the second round a little bit earlier. And then Saturday, they had to end the third round earlier. So the fourth round was Sunday, and it started at like 2 or 3 almost, which was weird. And by that time, Koepka had the lead, and he had a decent lead and then started kind of imploding a little bit. And then John took over from there and won the whole thing. But again, that's one we'll talk about. Actually, right now.
Yeah, might as well get into
We'll talk about it right now. Yeah. So, John Rahm, however you said it earlier. I'm going to say Rahm because I'm going to say Rahm because that's what I want to do. Yeah. He ended up winning it. He was in second for the longest time. I remember whenever I was tuning in, it was always him and Koepka because they put them in groups after they did the first, finished the third round and started the second. They were in these groups. So Koepka and Rahm were together. And it was fun to see them, like, kind of really play against each other because they were both going for the lead. And you got to see one kind of crumble while the other one is shooting up and taking the spot. So that was cool to see. Sadly, Tiger Woods withdrew for injury. He's just old. He's getting there. It's just I don't know how long he's going to be able to do it. But at least he's trying still. It's fun to see him try. He played decent his first and second rounds. He played well enough to make the cut. But, yeah. Other than that, though, not too much going on with the Masters.
Well, one thing that was interesting was Phil Mickelson. He's an older guy. Moved up to second. I believe, did he finish in second? I think he finished tied for second because he had just an insane final round. So that was pretty crazy to see. And then also, I don't know if you saw Jon Rahm's speech afterwards. It was pretty hilarious. He was talking about how Zach Ertz had texted him saying the greens look great on Thursday, the first round, saying it should be an easy day. And Jon Rahm ended up 4-putting the first hole. And so he called him out on that. And it was pretty funny because he actually, JJ Watt, I believe, was the one that posted the screenshots. He has a group chat with JJ Watt and Zach Ertz. And I don't know how that has happened or whatever, but it was funny to see just kind of the interaction. So if you haven't seen that, that's pretty funny. Their text back and forth.
That is a really weird group chat.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Football players and a random golfer.
I don't know how they ended up in that group chat, but it was funny to see.
And I'm pretty positive Zach Ertz and who'd you say the other one was?
JJ Watt.
Yeah, neither of them are Spaniards.
They all both live in Arizona. Does he? Maybe Rahm is also Arizona.
Arizona does have a lot of nice golf courses.
Because Watt and Ertz both play there, so something to do with that probably.
I forgot Ertz was there.
All right, moving on to baseball. We're going to talk about the MLB a little bit. The Braves played the Padres. That was I would probably say the biggest series of the weekend to kind of playoff teams. A little preview. Braves won game 1, but man, the Padres after that kind of just pulled away. There was a couple close games, but especially on Sunday night, they just destroyed the Braves on Sunday Night Baseball, sadly. And the Braves have a lot of injuries going on. Michael Harris hurt, Max Fried hurt. And we'll see what happens. I think d'Arnaud ended up getting a concussion. But yeah, he got ran over at the plate. He was a catcher, yeah.
It's run over by what?
But they did bounce back, beat the Rams on a walk-off home. Not the Rams, beat the Reds on a walk-off home run last night. Other than that, in the MLB right now, we got the Rays still undefeated, 10-0 to start the season. Which in baseball, that's a pretty big accomplishment. It's hard to go undefeated because usually you have one day that you just can't hit or something like that. So kind of impressive. One other thing that was interesting, me and Zach will be attending the Mariners-Cubs game at Wrigley Field tomorrow.
Will be.
If you're a fan there, you want to come say hi.
Come say hey.
But yeah, we'll be seeing that. So we'll be talking about that next week about our experience at Wrigley Field. That'll be Zach's first professional baseball game.
It will be.
Definitely my first game at Wrigley Field. My first game at any MLB stadium besides the Braves Stadium. No, wait. I take that back. I went to a Yankees game. So, All right. Moving on to soccer. Arsenal and Liverpool played this past weekend and somehow ended in a tie.
I watched that game.
I watched most of it. Liverpool, I don't know what's going on.
They're just bad.
But then they tie Arsenal somehow. It's
is Arsenal that good, or
yes,
just a good year?
They're in
I don't
first.
know if I trust. The only team I feel like that is good is Man City.
But I mean, right now,
I feel like it's Man City, and everybody else is either lucky or.
I mean, I guess we'll figure out how it ends the season. Man City gets closer to Arsenal, so it's going to be crazy into the year. And then the Champions League, first leg, Man City destroyed Bayern 3-0. So that's interesting, especially Haaland with another goal and a record. Especially that is interesting considering Bayern fired their manager a couple weeks ago because he wasn't doing great in the Champions League. Their new manager loses 3-0 in their first match. So that's not good. All right, but we're moving on to the WNBA, which I will pass on over to Zach.
Man, we were moving so quick. I wasn't even ready for that. All righty. Yes, so last night was the WNBA draft. As I talked about a second ago, Aaliyah Boston was the number 1 overall pick. She is now an Indiana Fever. Let me find these other picks. Here we go. Bang. I actually got to go to the Fever draft party down at the arena, so that was a lot of fun. A lot of people there. People are excited about the Fever, as they should be. We had number 1 pick, number 7, obviously the first pick in the second round, and then I think another pick in that round. We had
I thought I saw that.
We had like 4 picks total, which is pretty good. You can't just give me the draft, really? There we go. All righty. But yes, Aaliyah Boston went number 1 to the Fever. After that was Diamond Miller from Maryland to the Lynx. Nobody was shocked by that. A trade did end up happening, which I think was kind of shocking for everybody. Nobody really saw this one coming, but the Washington Mystics traded their pick to Dallas. So unless I am reading this wrong, which is very possible, Dallas had back-to-back-to-back picks.
Oh, yeah, that's correct.
They had picks 3, 4, and I'm pretty sure they had 3 and 5, but they traded for 4 somehow. Jeez. So, yeah, Dallas really, really going at it. Yeah, one of the bigger stories was Haley Jones. She was huge at Stanford, and she's got a lot of basketball in her family tree. There it is. She's got a family tree full of basketball, and she dropped to number 6. People thought she was going to be a high pick. But other than that, the biggest news of the night, honestly, was there were 3 Gamecocks picked in the first round, 5 total, all 3 rounds, which is insane. I'm not sure if that's a record or not. I feel like it would have to be, but I never saw anything saying it was. Yeah. But I feel like it would have to be. That's 5 picks in 3 rounds.
With UConn.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'll have to look that up and see. But yeah, other than that, it was a good night for the WNBA. It starts in 38 days, which is the turnaround is absolutely ridiculous, but okay, that was weird. I have stuff to edit this one.
Yeah.
Why was he about to fight him?
I don't know. Who knows with this?
Anyway, the WNBA starts in 38 days, I believe. So that'll tip off here at the beginning of May. And yeah, that's about it for women's basketball. We do have the NBA.
We do have the NBA.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about? I have nothing for women's college basketball. Do we want to talk about men's now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for men's college basketball, when we released our last episode, that was the same night as the championship. UConn won. It was not fun to watch.
Yeah, that was honestly, it was just a blowout. San Diego State got within 5 with like 8 minutes left. And other than that, I mean, after that, UConn just pulled away again. It was just UConn was too good. They were just on a hot streak, out of control.
Yeah.
Since there's not much to talk about there, we can talk about a little bit of transfer portal, some decisions. So today, actually, Kyle Filipowski announces he was returning to Duke. That is massive news considering Proctor, Mark Mitchell, and Filipowski all coming back. First time in the one-and-done era. 3 5-stars have returned to Duke after their freshman season. So new era starting under Shire, trying to keep guys around. But with that, one of Duke's top recruits did decommit, Mackenzie Mbako, I believe is how you say it, which is a little sad, but if it comes at the cost of Kyle Filipowski, I'm going to take Kyle Filipowski. If he can improve on what he did last year, man, he could win the is it the Wooden Award? Is that the best player? Yeah, the Wooden Award. And with him and Proctor and Mitchell coming back, I would be on. Honestly, they're going to be preseason number 1 in most polls, I would assume, and with good reason. Also, talk about some transfers. What's his name? Dude played for Virginia. Why am I forgetting it? Caden Shedrick, maybe? I believe that sounds right. He is a center. I think he's like 7 foot something. Very defensive guy. He visited Duke. I believe he's visiting Texas, a few other schools. That would be a big transfer if Duke gets him to replace Lively. Also another big news for them. And then we have Caleb Love committing to Indiana.
Nope.
Michigan.
Yep.
Someone else is I'm thinking about.
Somebody did go to Indiana.
I'll figure it out in a second.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
Yeah. Caleb Love goes to Michigan. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I hate it all around.
I just think it's because you don't like Caleb Love.
No, I don't think Caleb Love is that good. That's a common opinion. I don't think Caleb Love is that good. And Michigan is already losing Hunter Dickinson, and I just don't think they're going to be very good. Who went to Indiana? I'm sure I'll find it in a second. So I'm going to go over some of the top transfers, and we'll see where they're going crystal ball to, according to On3.
This guy.
That's right. We'll get there in a second, yeah. Hunter Dickinson is at a 38% Maryland, 33% Georgetown.
I don't care where he goes.
I don't know what the point of going to Maryland would be. I thought he would be going to like a bigger school or Georgetown. Yeah, I don't know.
Bye.
Max Abmas, if you remember me talking about Duke's first round game, he was the guy that played for Oral Roberts. He was horrible in that game for some reason, but he's a really good player. Looks like he's following his head coach to Wichita State. Maybe they'll bring him back to relevancy. Then you got Harrison Ingram from Stanford, who I've heard is a huge name for the top schools, is a 99% to North Carolina. So looking like that. Caleb Love to Michigan. J.J. Starling, who played for Notre Dame this season, he was a freshman. He is going to Syracuse. That was a big one. And then we got Aaron Estrada from Hofstra, which I watched him a few times play Charleston this year. He is at a 93% to Cincinnati or a 2% to Alabama. Either one of those would be a huge pickup, I feel like. A guard with experience like him, especially when you get to March. You can never have too many of those. Then the guy I was thinking of earlier that committed to Indiana, Khalil Ware from Oregon, the 7-foot freshman who was I believe he was a 5-star coming in. He goes to Indiana. That's a big pickup for them.
Hoosiers.
There you go. Let's see if we got any other big ones. Jameer Nelson from Delaware. Jameer Nelson Jr. goes to TCU. Other than that, LJ Cryer, that was a huge one.
Oh, yeah.
He was great for Baylor this year, and he goes to Houston, who is joining the Big 12. You have to keep in mind. And I don't know who all Houston's losing. I don't think it's very many of them, but that is going to be an insane team once again. And you add in someone like LJ Cryer.
The Big 12 is going to be crazy.
Yeah, Big 12 next year. Woo. Then we got Nick Timberlake, another CAA transfer from Towson. He is a 38% to UConn. And then Kirk Kriisa from Arizona, who I honestly don't think is that good, especially in the tournament. He goes to West Virginia, which could be a solid pickup. Have you seen the news about the D2 player? Jonathan Pierre is his name. And basically every D1 school basically offered him this year. He dominated D2. It looks like he is going to Memphis committed.
Wow.
So that's a big one. because I know there was a lot of schools in on him. So yeah, those are the kind of the big ones to look out for. Yep, and Caden Shedrick, that was the other one. He is at a 37% to Duke and a 32% to Missouri. Oh, and Ryan Nimhard from Creighton.
Oh yeah,
he is at 100% to Arizona right now. That is where his brother went. So I feel like that is a reason there. So yeah, those are some of the big names where they're predicted to go or where they are going. I saw a stat. D1 scholarship players, 20% of them will enter the transfer portal. That is a crazy stat.
I love it.
Luckily, no one from Duke so far, actually. All right. We got NBA left.
NBA,
all right, NBA. I'll pass that one over to Zach.
All righty. Well, tonight actually is the start of the NBA playoffs. We have the play-in, or two of the play-ins tonight, with Hawks versus the Heat and T-Wolves versus the Lakers. So honestly, I want to break those down a little bit, but before I do want to talk about Luka Doncic. Have you heard about any of this?
No.
People think he might request a trade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to know where you think he might go.
Hornets.
Okay. Well, where do I think he might go? He's one of those players that if you trade for him, you are giving up everything.
Yeah. I mean, who has the
dude? Honestly,
who has the capital? Thunder.
Yeah, it almost has to be one of those teams that has a lot of picks. Thunder, Jazz. Who else? There are other teams that made huge trades. Who the Sun? Oh, the Nets.
The Nets.
Yeah. Those are all weird teams, I feel like, though, for him.
Yeah.
Because he's a weird, I don't know.
At this point, though, you can go so far in the future with your picks in the NBA.
That's true.
I feel like it could be any team. You give them 20, 30 picks, and they'll probably still take it. Gosh. Man, I could see it. I feel like if he does request a trade, he is going to want to go somewhere where at least there's one other star. Yeah. At this point. Well, can you imagine like Portland with Damian Lillard? Or I don't know where he would go. Man, that's a good question.
It's weird to think of him in another jersey.
Yeah.
Because he's just been a Maverick for 5 years now.
I don't know where he would go. That's a good one.
You know what?
Celtics.
Okay. Kings.
I was going to say that. I was considering that.
I don't know why.
Imagine Kings. Warriors.
That'd be awful.
Warriors with Curry.
That would be awful.
Oh, man.
But yes, Luka has not officially requested a trade. It seems like he probably will because the Mavericks just aren't good. They traded for Kyrie Irving and still missed the playoffs, which is hilarious. They also sat Luka for 3/4 of that game for some reason. So, but yeah, other than that, the Mavericks aren't in the playoffs, so we don't need to talk about them anymore until next year. Heading on to the playoffs. There are a lot of good series we got so far set up. So one of them is Nets 76ers. It would have a lot more to it if KD and Harden and everybody was still there.
So the Nets made the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, the Nets are like better without all them now, you know? Another set one we have is Knicks, Cavs, and Warriors, Kings, which we will talk about a little bit later. And then the others, the only other one we have set is Clippers, Suns. Yeah. Everything else is waiting on a play-in team. Dang. All right. So tonight is round 1 of the play-in, or night 1 of the play-in. You've got the Hawks versus the Heat. Hawks have had their own stuff happen lately. Apparently the front office has been given the green light on the offseason to do whatever they feel is necessary, including trading Trae Young. The Heat are a ground and pound team. They just are going to bully you out of your mind on defense. Who wins this game tonight?
Heat.
Why?
I feel like they're just built for the playoffs more than the Hawks in a one-game, especially scenario. I think the Heat will win. Jimmy Butler. when you have Jimmy Butler type of player on your team, I feel like you just don't lose those kind of games.
Yeah.
That's why I'm taking them.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler's good. And the Hawks have a good team. They've got good players. They just haven't been able to put it together. And it's like, I don't know how I feel about Trae Young because he is really good, but then he has his nights where he's just bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just can't have that. I think I'm probably going to go Heat too. So that would put the Heat into the playoffs. And then the Hawks would
have to
play the winner. Yes, play the winner of who?
Bulls Raptors.
Of Bulls Raptors, which will be tomorrow night. Man, we are all over the place right now. Alrighty, the other playing game tonight is the Timberwolves Lakers. Another one surrounded by controversy. Going into the T-Wolves first, and this week alone, have lost one of their best players because he punched a wall and broke his hand, and then lost another one of their best players because he punched a teammate in the chest. And now him and that teammate, it doesn't seem like they're on good terms. I think something came out yesterday saying they were, but then more came out today saying they're not. And then, of course, the Lakers have LeBron. First of all, it's the Lakers, so they're going to be dramatic anyway. But you have LeBron James, you've got AD, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves out of nowhere. Really scary Lakers team that if they can figure it out, could be hot. Who's going to win?
Yeah, definitely Lakers. I probably would have taken the Timberwolves before all this stuff happened, but I don't see how they can win that game. Did you say Gobert's not playing? I feel like I read he's not playing.
I didn't say, but I'll see.
I don't think Gobert's playing. Yeah, I'm gonna be going with the Lakers. Yeah, and they got LeBron still, and I don't see how the Timberwolves could pull it off after what happened with them.
Yeah, I know he did get suspended.
Maybe it was the game.
Yeah, for playing versus Lakers. Yep. So yes, he's gone.
So yeah, definitely Lakers. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't know, but are the Timberwolves better without him?
No.
I feel like they are. Maybe I don't think good enough to beat the Lakers, but I don't know. So yeah, those are the two playing games we got tonight. I don't know what else to say.
All right. I think we are on to our games of the weeks. Games of the week coming up. I am switching it up. A new sport we have not had the game of the week yet, and that is men's college lacrosse.
Okay, I didn't know what this was.
Yes, we have number 2 Virginia at number 3 Duke. I believe Duke is on like a 10-game winning streak against Virginia, and they already beat them once this year. Can they do it at home is the question. They did lose last week to Notre Dame. Notre Dame is now number 1 though. I think it'll be a great game back and forth. Duke's offense is really good. The question is, can their goalie continue to be? I believe he was transferred from a D3 school. Can he continue to play like he's been playing? But it's getting closer to the point of getting into the tournament of NCAA. So I think it'll be interesting to start seeing these guys get into that mode of where it's win or lose. And number 2 and number 3 can't get much better than that. So definitely one to watch. If you haven't watched any lacrosse this year, that would be a good one to start with.
Nice. Well, my game of the week is game 1 of Warriors versus the Kings. Very weird matchup because no current NBA player has ever played against the Kings in the playoffs. So you have that. This is the Kings' first playoff game in 16 years. And that was the NBA's longest playoff drought until they snapped it. And then you have the Warriors, who are a weird team because they have like 9 wins at home this year, but are 30-8 on the road. And they're playing in Sacramento. So it should be a good game, also a good series. I have no clue what to expect out of the Kings just because we've never seen them here. The Warriors, I feel like you know what you're getting, especially in the playoffs, but hopefully it's a good game. And yeah, got anything else?
I think that about wraps us up. Next week we'll talk about, I guess, a little college lacrosse, some big college baseball series coming up, South Carolina Vanderbilt, and a think Wake Forest, Louisville, some ranked matchups. And yeah, hopefully some more NBA stuff to talk about once we get rolling into the playoffs.
Yeah. Other than that, we got Wrigley tomorrow, and we'll be talking about that. That's all we got.
Yes, sir.
All right. First live episode of Full Sport Press. Goodbye.